I welcome you all. We have with us Professor Aqil Ahmad Sahib. ये ऑन नहीं हुआ है. ये ऑन नहीं हुआ है. So please let me introduce sir. Professor Aqil Ahmad presently holds the post of professor and chairman in the Department of Statistics and Operations Research at Aligarh Muslim University, Aligarh. He is a graduate of AMU and completed his doctoral degree from IIT Roorkee. Prior to joining AMU, he held the position of the Dean of the Faculty of Physical and Material Sciences and was also the founding head of the Department of Statistics at University of Kashmir. In addition, he has served as a University Council member and chairman of the Board of Studies in Statistics at the University of Kashmir, Srinagar. He has functioned as a faculty member at Qasim University in Saudi Arabia for a duration of 2.5 years. Professor Ahmad has gained over 33 years of teaching and research expertise. He has worked as the Vice President of Indian Society for Probability and Statistics. He has worked as the Vice President of Indian Society for Probability and Statistics. He has overseen the progress of 16 plus PhD students and many more dissertations. Professor Ahmad has held a visiting professorship at the Asian Institute of Technology in Bangkok, Thailand. In addition, he acts as an advising member of prestigious committees and academic bodies and has successfully organized several international conferences, workshops, and seminars. Professor Ahmad is actively engaged in foreign projects and research and has participated in numerous co-curricular activities all over India. Friends, very nice human being we have with us, and words are inadequate to speak more about him. And now this is the time of paradigm shift. Almost we have tried to develop the foundation as far as the theoretical perspective of the talks are concerned. Now we are moving towards quantitative domain. Fine. So Professor Aqil Saab will be speaking on hypothesis testing and choosing appropriate parametric and non-parametric tests for analysis. Very important domain. How to choose the right statistics, keeping in consideration the nature of the data and what type of roles the variables are going to play in your research. Very important talk. I request my my director, Professor Naseem Saab, so please present a memento to Aqil Sahib. Sir, we are recording the session and after editing the video clip will be uploaded on the YouTube, and we are of the opinion and sharing the link with the participants. So I hope sir, आप बैठ कर करेंगे. Thank you so much friends. So welcome Professor Aqil Sahab. Thank you.
So thank you, Professor Shah Mahmud Khan, for your nice words about me. And let me share it with you that he has been a part of our department. He has the PG degree in statistics and then shifted to Department of Psychology. Yeah. So we feel proud of him as he has been contributing towards the research methodology uh, and the area which perhaps many of you find difficult. But I am sure with these training programs, you will find it easy. Okay, my pleasure. So I'm sure some of you must have heard me earlier also. I see few faces over here. At least one is here, right? But today's topic is different. Okay? Because these topics, all your topics, they belong to us. We belong to you. Without research methodology. And perhaps it's know-how if you don't have, you feel constant and you remain tense throughout your research scholarship. We don't want to make you tense because this is the area where if you know this, you are comfortable. But if you do not know this, ये दुनिया की सबसे मुश्किल चीज़ है. I have no hesitation in sharing it with you. I have been interacting with many people because I have been delivering these lectures across the country. And whenever I meet a stranger, and if you talk to him, you share about you something, you ask about him something. Quite often in traveling in aeroplanes. So when I tell him that I teach at the university, at Aligarh Muslim University, the subject of mathematics, or mathematical sciences rather, quite often I have seen the person sharing with me that this was the subject which was very difficult for us. And when I tell him it was difficult because of the fact that you were not taught the way you should have been taught. Otherwise, things would have been very easy for you. We believe that if you know the things, you are comfortable. But if you do not know the things, you are uncomfortable. I share the quotes of my ex-Vice Chancellor, Professor J. A. K. Tareen, the ex-Vice Chancellor of Kashmir University, where I worked for more than 27 years. And he used to say just one thing. If you know the rule, you will rule. If you do not know the rule, you will be ruled. Choice is yours. Why he used to say like this? Take any area of your life. If you happen to be the manager of the bank and you do not know the rules of the bank, what will happen? Everybody will make just fun of you. So the same thing is in our life. If you do not know the research methodology, then how to conduct the research? That is the core area. And we wish that you should get everything in research methodology, what you are supposed to get. Normally, there are many people who would be speaking on this topic. Normally, I starting with should be the sample size, then how to handle the data, the first thing which you are supposed to do. But since there are many speakers, some of them have already chosen, then there was a specific topic which I had opted. Because the other topics can be discussed by other people like correlation, regression, like exploratory data analysis, and the other methods which you are supposed to know. Then I choose for the first time because this is the topic where you find uncomfortable yourself. Testing of hypothesis is something which needs to be taught to you by someone who is specialized in statistics, because we know the magics of that. People who are teaching you statistics, people who are teaching you these research methodologies, and if they do not belong to this specialized area, they may be teaching you something, of course, workable solution may be there. But then if somebody teaches you from the specialized subject, he knows what are the if and buts of that. So I have chosen for today the topic of testing of hypothesis, and of course we will be dealing with the parametric as well as non-parametric. But before we start parametric and non-parametric, you should be aware about why do we make use of the testing of hypothesis. I'm sure I'm audible. Can you hear me? I feel more comfortable to be closer to you. Okay. Why? Because this is the discipline which, if you are not in the learning mode, it's very difficult to teach you. So I wish first of all that all of you should be in the learning mode. I'm going to make this session very workable. You will not feel bored. Otherwise, people think that the mathematical classes, many people find it difficult. I used to share one quote from my ex-head of the department, who was very genius, of course, in mathematics, but he was equally genius in literature. He used to remember 16,000 couplets of Persian language. Imagine, he used to share at least 3-4 शेर तो रोज मुझे सुनाते थे. And he asked me one thing. I joined it perhaps in March 1998. I was very young. He asked me a simple question as head of the department. वकील साहब बताइए दोज़ख कहाँ है? Where is the hell? I was taken aback. I told him, sir, जो लोग अच्छे काम करते हैं वो जन्नत में जाएंगे, जो बुरे करते हैं वो दोज़ख में जाएंगे, नरक में जाएंगे. He said, ये तो कोई भी बता देगा. मुझे आज तक याद है उनका. ये तो कोई भी बता सकता है. जो मैंने पूछा वो बताइए. तो फिर इतने टैलेंटेड आदमी के सामने you have to surrender. Sir, I need to be enlightened. Please let me know. So he told me one thing which I still remember. That the hell is there if somebody is forced to listen to you for 2 hours when he is not willing to listen to you. And in India, most of the classes are like that. In such courses, the speaker is speaking, many of you get involved in something else. Because the topic which are being discussed, they are not interesting. Right? If the topics are interesting, you will definitely would like to just listen to it. So that is what I'm going to give it. Number one, what I'm going to give you, it will be utilized by you. It has applications in your research, and many of the concepts which you may have not followed. Today I will tell you. Okay? So the topic of testing of hypothesis, which I'm going to discuss with you, let me start with the slide. This is what you expect from me. I welcome all of you. Okay? And this is what I would like to give it to you. Just go through. Hypothesis testing is one of the most important concepts in the statistics, which is heavily used by decision makers. May I know how many subjects you are from? You are only from one subject? No. So that's interdisciplinary. Yes. And I am really the person who belongs to interdisciplinary subject. I belong to it. I used to ask this question in Srinagar when I used to train the Kashmir administrative probationers. And they were from all the different disciplines. They used to be around 50 people. And when I used to go to them, I used to ask them, is there anybody who doesn't make use of his studies? बिना माइक के रिकॉर्डिंग सही नहीं हो रही हाँ तो ये आपने कांस्टेंट रखा है यहाँ पे सर वो वायरलेस माइक में हमारा हाँ तो मुझे यहाँ लगा दें वो कॉर्ड खराब है ये आप टीचर की वो लिबर्टी छोड़ खत्म कर मुझे आप मजबूर कर रहे हैं मैं मूर्त की तरह खड़ा होकर बैठ के नहीं पढ़ाया जाता मैथमेटिक्स एनीवे मैं यहाँ से बोल दूँगा मैं यहाँ से बोल दूँगा कोई बात नहीं इट्स अप टू यू हाँ यहाँ रख ले कोई बात नहीं आई एम सॉरी because I have worked in an environment in Thailand. When I went there, I had to teach PhD students. And then there was a time of examining them. So I was told it's a free system. They can bring as many books as they wish 10, 20, 30. Prepare a question paper so that they have to do themselves. Let them bring hundreds of books. Open system. Right? So if there is some compulsion, okay, no problem. So why do I call decision maker? I was referring to the probationers. I asked them, is there anybody who doesn't make use of statistics? And only one person stood up out of 50. He was from Persian department. He said, we never make use of statistics. I asked him one question. At what time in the morning do you get up? He told me around 6. Then I asked another one. He told me around 5:30. Somebody else, he said around 4. I told them, why do you get up in the 4, 4:30 and 5 and 6? Because there's a microprocessor in your mind here. It calculates how much time you need to go for prayer, how much time you need to go for refreshing, how much time you need to go for breakfast, how much time you need to go to your department before you attend the class. If you calculate all that correctly, then you come to know that you require 3 hours before you could go to the class. So if you need to attend your classes at 9, so you have to get up at 6. Yes, I do that. But what you are using is statistics. If your calculations go wrong, then you will not be able to attend the class. So every time you are here, you may ask in Aligarh, which one is the restaurant which gives you the best tasty food? It's statistics. How much water you take every day? It's statistics. How much blood in your body? It's statistics. What is the average height of the people? Statistics. How do the students behave in Aligarh? Statistics. What is the average height? Statistics. Your mom asks how many rotis you will take every day. Then she calculates the number of family members and accordingly prepares 15, 20 chapatis. Statistics. The taste of the food. She tastes a sample. Only then she determines whether the food is properly cooked or not. Right? How much money you should spend every day? Statistics. Where not? Everywhere. Everywhere you see the role of statistics, not to think of research. So normally I say, if you want to live the happy life as a citizen, you need to know statistics. You need to know mathematical science. I will be sharing many things with you. Okay? But why testing of hypothesis? Because when you want to get believed something which you are claiming it is correct, there is nobody else in this whole world which can make you believe without the role of statistics. You say students from Aligarh Muslim University, they are very, very courteous. But he can ask me, how can you say that? I don't believe. Students from this university are very taller, right? Why should you believe? Students are honest from this university. Why should you believe? Right? Because if you supplicate that with the test of statistics, only then he will believe, otherwise he may believe or he may not believe. There are two microscopes of these two speakers of two makes of the different company. You claim this is better than that. I don't believe. Unless I am supported with these documents, with the data. So therefore, if I want to get believe something, I was working in Kashmir, so there was an opinion which people said most of the people want this. Then there were people who said, why should we believe? It's okay? So, it's okay? So, if you are carrying out some research, why should someone believe? You see P values now. Earlier it was not there. Whatever you used to write, people should have believed. They may believe or they may not believe. But now think now. You are using every day the consumables in your home. I start with. How many types of toothpaste we are using every day? At least 3, 4, 5 brands, right? We are using them. Which one we should use? Whatever you see on the TV? Or is there any other criterion? You are not using. In India, we are being made fool by the advertisements. Use close-up. If you use close-up, you will make many friends. But what do? You start buying close-up. So it's the hypothesis. What is the hypothesis? The advertisers are saying, use close-up, you will make many friends. Have you ever made? Never. So hypothesis, you may have accepted, you may have not. Those who have accepted, they have run into losses. But if you would have gone by the hypothesis of statistics, I should have told you which toothpaste you should use so that your teeth are okay. So simple. You could have carried out a research, a hypothesis. The hypothesis, you say, I have the hypothesis, all the toothpaste which are available, different brands, they are equally effective. Against the hypothesis, they are not equally effective. How to carry out this test? Only one option is true. Whether they are equally effective, if they are equally effective, you can use any one. But if they are not equally effective, use the one which is better. Right? I have the data with me. I will show it to you. Means what? Something to believe. Something to believe with confidence. Otherwise, if you say something, why should I believe? So this is the whole story around testing of hypothesis. That if you have something which you want to get it believed by other people, you are a researcher, you are going to conduct a research, you have some hypothesis which you have verified. So the hypothesis, you say this is my research, you should believe. Somebody may ask you, why should I believe? So there is a document, there is a test that you have to believe because I am saying. You have to believe because my test carried this level of confidence. Otherwise, anybody can say, why should we believe? So the whole analysis surrounds this concept, that there is some research which you want to get believed by others. Otherwise, your paper will not be published. your hypothesis will not be approved. So this whole procedure requires something which I am sharing with you. We normally say we are interested in the hypothesis rejection. Please remember, we are always interested the hypothesis of rejection, right? And the hypothesis of rejection it says that either it will be accepted or it will be rejected. And this hypothesis of rejection comes from the idea that this is the hypothesis of no difference. Please remember, we call it null hypothesis. The hypothesis of no difference. I see my participants, male and female. There may be a hypothesis. Male are more intelligent than females. Or there may be a hypothesis that females are more intelligent than males. Right? But in statistics, I have to take the hypothesis of no difference. I will simply frame the hypothesis that both of them are equally intelligent. Right? Means there is no difference. Means there is no difference. So I call this as the null hypothesis. Right? Every time I will formulate this as the hypothesis of no difference. Right? Like for example, the brand of two kinds of toothpaste, I will simply put the hypothesis of no difference. I will say both the toothpastes are equally effective. Right? Or you may say the weight of the males and the weight of the females, there is no difference. So the null hypothesis is the hypothesis of no difference. And we are always interested in rejecting this. Why? I will be sharing it with you because there is a technical issue. You say P less than 0.05, right? And if P is less than 0.05, we say our results are significant. But may I ask you, how can we claim like that? Anybody? You may have written research papers, you may have used this concept, P values, right? What is P value? Probability of what? Probability of rejecting H. Right? So we are interested in rejection. And the funny thing about it is that if you see the difference, this difference may be due to some other random factors in the nature. Like I was saying, temperature. If you are suffering from temperature, right? What do we use to measure it? Thermometer. Fine. Right? So before you insert the thermometer in your mouth, how many times you ask the doctor, tell the doctor on what principle it works? Have you ever asked? Not a single time. What you are interested in? The temperature. The thermometer will tell you the temperature. What is the formula? You are please further. If you are likely to be scanned in MRI machine, okay, you may get frightened before entering. But how many times you ask the doctor, tell me how many lenses it makes use of? Never. What you are interested in? You are interested in the final results. Your subject of research methodology has become like that. No need to know the formula. I will not push you into big trouble. No need to perform the calculations manually. Right? Everything looks like an executive sitting in his office, doing on computers. That's all. Even this testing of hypothesis. You don't have to perform manual calculations. Yes. What is important? What is to be done? Which test is to be used? If you are suffering from temperature, the thermometer is to be taken inside the mouth, not the glass of water. So you know what you are supposed to do. That's all. This much is required. I will be sharing many things with you. So first of all, null hypothesis, the hypothesis of no difference. And we always formulate it in terms of null hypothesis. You formulate your hypothesis as the hypothesis of no difference. If I am saying that you are the students whose IQ level is around 80 versus the IQ level of national level, say 75, right? The hypothesis I will be framing that there is no difference in your IQ level and the IQ level. That's what, is it okay? Now, alternative hypothesis is automatically formulated, just opposite to what you are formulating in null hypothesis. If I am saying IQ level is for both is same, the null alternative hypothesis will be that it is different. It's not the same. So first of all, I need to formulate the hypothesis. Which hypothesis? The hypothesis of no difference. And this is the first step of your six-step procedure of testing of hypothesis. So I will be sharing it with you. This is the procedure. This is the procedure. Step 1, frame the null hypothesis. Right? Somebody will also say formulate. Both are the same thing. Frame or formulate, both are the same thing. Then step 2, frame the alternative hypothesis. Just opposite to what you have framed in null hypothesis. Is it okay? The third step is choose an appropriate level of significance. This is the most important part which you are supposed to learn. How much confident you would like to be if I should believe you? If I am saying I am honest and I am 50% confident. If I am saying I am honest but I am 50% confident, will you believe me? Would you believe me? But if I say I am 95% confident that I am an honest person, you should believe. If I am 95% confident, if you don't agree with me, I will give you the answer. Right? Why I am saying so? This is the magic of using alpha is equal to 0.05 level of significance. We say we need to be 95% confident if something is going to happen. And the answer today I give you. Many people will ask you, why are you using 0.05? Why are you not using 0.06? What is the difference? Only difference of 0.1, 0.01. But why we are using alpha 0.05? It will make you 95% confident. And if you are 95% confident, central limit theorem of statistics, it says if you are 95% confident, things normally happen. The BJP was, if 95% confident of winning, it will win. If a candidate is not confident of 95%, they may not be able to do the required thing. So from where we get it? We get it from central limit theorem. It says if you are 95% confident, things normally happen. If I was supposed to take a class and I was 95% confident that I will be taking a class, I would definitely take. That is the rule. That is why we choose alpha is equal to 0.05. And we call it P is less than 0.05. Why we say P less than 0.05? Because this is the process of rejecting H naught. We reject H naught and we write it, this is a convention, that P should be less than 0.05. If P is less than 0.05, P is equal to 0.05 will mean 95%, and if P is less than 0.05, if say it is 0.04, it means that you are 96% confident. If P is equal to 0.03, you are 97% confident. So more you are confident, things are expected to be more likely. Like for example, if I am 99% confident, I am sure things likely to happen. You may ask me, how can you say like that? I give you a very, very interesting example. If somebody has to be operated upon in a medical, what is the first thing which you give him? Anesthesia. Right? If somebody is to be operated, we administer to him what level of anesthesia? How many liters? How many liters? Only 1 ml. 1 ml or 2 ml of anesthesia before we anesthetize you. For getting the operation done in a medical, 1 to 5 ml, okay, no problem. But not liters? Okay, let it be 5 ml. How much it is? It is very small quantity. And what is the effect? What is the effect? Up to 6 hours, you are unconscious and the doctors can operate. Imagine how many times you have come to your senses before 6 hours. If it happens so, what will happen? When the operation is going on, the doctor is cutting your leg, and if you come into your senses, you will kill him. Have you ever seen? What is the magic? Only liquid of 5 ml makes you anesthetized for 6 hours, and you are relying, you are confident. What is that remedy? What is that principle? It's statistics, p-value. We use p-value in patenting this medicine of anesthesia. We fix the p-value at alpha is equal to 0.000001. No chance of making a mistake. Sure shot. And you see the results are there. Have you ever seen happening another thing? Never. And I share with all of you, you might have traveled in the railways, many of you, right? How many times did you ask the railway engine driver, have you checked the bearings of the coaches? Why don't you ask? He may kill you. You hire any taxi, you ask him, your car is okay? Your tires is okay? Your AC is okay? You ask him, But how many times you ask the railway to drive engine? Never. Why? Because of statistics. We are using the bearings which carry a life of 30,000 kilometers, SKF bearings. They will not deceive you. And after 30,000 kilometers, they will be replaced. Who is coming to your help? Statistics. We test the hypothesis that these bearings will carry the life hours of so many hours. Only then we patent it. Imagine. What is the role? The role of testing of hypothesis. Right? So we use a 6-step procedure, right? Even when I use my software, you will forget about these 5 steps. You not 6 steps, 5 steps. 6 steps, you need not remember them. The software will automatically tell you whether the hypothesis is being accepted or it is being rejected. What you need to do, only the data is to be given. How to feed the data? Everybody knows now. Those are the days which are gone. When I used to teach in Kashmir University in 1988, how to copy, how to paste, how to enter, right? Now everybody is used to. You enter your data in Excel, my software will accept that. Okay? So the alpha level, how much we should choose? Minimum. Oh, you can say maximum, not more than 0.05. It has to be 0.05. Or if you want, if you are perfectionist, choose 0.01. You would be 99% confident. Okay? But whether your data supports that or not, I don't know. Okay? So minimum, at least I must be 95% confident. Right? Is it okay? So come to 4th step. 4th step says the test statistic. This is a difficult area. If I have to test sample mean versus population mean, if I have to test difference between 2 proportions, if I have to test difference between 2 groups, if I have to test what is expected, whether this is happening or not. Like for example, the babies are born. I am interested how many males, how many females, right? What is the probability? The rule says expected. What is expected? 50% girls, 50% boys. But actually what is happening? Bring the data. I can tell you whether this is the realistic data or whether both are probable or not. Not only this. Bring me last year data, I can tell you how many newly born babies are going to be born tomorrow in Aligarh. It's such a fantastic analysis. Right? So for that, you need to have a statistic. Based on this statistic, you will find a value which you will compare with the tabulated value. Okay? And this statistic will vary. If I am comparing sample mean versus population mean, so the statistic, and if the sample size is small, the statistic may be x bar minus mu upon s upon under root n. If sample size is large, the statistic may be x bar minus mu upon sigma upon under root n. If I am comparing the difference between the two, the statistic will be something else. So this statistic you have to choose. But when you use the software, when you don't have to decide, it will automatically decide. What is important? You should know what you are doing. Are you comparing sample mean versus population mean? Or are you comparing the difference between the 2 means? Or are you comparing the difference between 2 proportions? Right? Or are you comparing the paired samples? Like I am interested whether my teaching has improved your level of statistics. So your level of statistics before I taught you and your level of statistics after I taught you, we call them as paired observations. So there is a different test. So I will be talking about all that. So test statistic plays a role. It may follow T distribution, it may follow Z distribution, normal distribution, it may follow F distribution, it may follow chi-square distribution. But I will not push you into the trouble. Why? Because if I write the PDF of a normal distribution, all of you will disappear from. I'm not going to do that. I need not do that. Why? Because I know the tabulated value of normal distribution, if I want to be 95% confident, it is 1.96. So why should I learn the curve or the PDF? It's very difficult. What you need to know, the tabulated value of the normal distribution is 1.96. If you want to be 95% confident, you are using alpha is equal to 0.05. If you want to be more confident, you are using 0.01. You want to be 99% confident, so the tabulated value is 2.58. That's all. Finish. So these tabulated values will automatically be calculated by the software. You don't have to find it. Till now, we used to find in the books. In the end of the books, we used to locate what are the tabulated values. But now, no need. Okay? So that will also be taken care of. Then, of course, critical values, I say whatever the values you get from the tabulated values, we call them as critical values. Then use an appropriate test statistic, of course, either T, either Chi, either F, and then they decide whether to accept null hypothesis or not. Or you can call it whether to reject the null hypothesis or not. There is a rule. If calculated value is greater than tabulated, we reject H0. If calculated value is greater than tabulated value, we reject H0. If calculated value is less than, then we accept that. So this is a 6-step procedure. If your supervisor will ask you, you can tell him, sir, this is the 6-step procedure where we can use this 6-step procedure, and accordingly we will be rejecting or we will be accepting. Right? But in the software, even you don't have to perform manually. Finish? It is going to be as simple as that. Because you are the people from other than the mathematical science, so we will not push you into the trouble. We know how to get your things done. That's all. So this is the 6-step procedure which we will be following, and of course there are 2 types of mistakes which you can make in statistics. Can you find a person in this whole world, except of course in America, developed world, they don't speak like. Can you find a person here who will admit, I am telling you something with such a percent of wrong information. In India, everybody say, I am right. I am right. You are wrong. Even if he is making 100% wrong statement, he will claim he is correct. Statistics is the first subject. We tell you in advance how much mistake they are likely to carry. And this is the first type of mistake, type 1. This is the error made by rejecting the null hypothesis when it is true. We call it alpha. And alpha is 0.05. Right? The second mistake which we can make, a type 2 error, this is the error made by accepting the null hypothesis when it should have been rejected. This is second type of error. Now, there is a mathematical relationship between the two. If you minimize one, another is maximized. So what do? We fix first type of error. We fix first type of error at 0.05. Less than that, okay, fine. But minimum at 0.05. And try to minimize the another one. Okay? So that's what I had explained to you earlier, that we use p less than 0.05. It is because that if p is less than 0.5, we say our results are significant and things are likely to happen. Why? Because of the central limit theorem. Nobody would have told you the answer. They say, because you have been using it. My supervisor has been using it. But there is a logic. Why do we make use of p less than 0.05? Because the central limit theorem says it gives you the confidence. If you use 0.05, things are normally going to happen. That is where you make it. P less than 0.05. So these two errors we must keep in our mind. And of course, it comes to the question of parametric and non-parametric. Because you are from other streams, if your population is normal, what do you mean by normal? All of you are sitting here, right? For me, it's a normal population. If I talk about IQ level, all of you, your IQ levels must be somewhere between 18 to at least 80 to 100. I don't find anybody whose IQ level is 5 only. Your ages, all of you, you must be in more than 30 years. Maybe more than 30 years. Is there anybody who is only 3 years sitting over here? Or is there anybody who is 110 years old? That is why this population is normal. So how do we test it in whether my data is normal or not? Say, for example, height, normal parameter. Rains, normal. Temperature, normal. Right? What about accidents? That's what. Occurrence of accidents, it's not normal. It's rare. Right? So, the distribution which follows rare events is Poisson, not normal. Right? And many times you do not know whether our distribution is normal, Poisson, binomial, or whatever. So in that case you need to know what kind of my events, my characteristic variables are following which distribution. So the first thing before you use parametric or non-parametric. If your population is normal, then use parametric. If your population is not normal, then use non-parametric. So let me tell you, how do we say it is normal, not normal, right? So here starts my magic. You don't have to learn the method. What you have to do, remember, this is the data which I have. Say for example, this is the data which I have. This is the data pertaining to skin elasticity. I'm sure you know what do you mean by skin elasticity. How many of you are familiar? Those who are young, their faces are tight. They gloom. And those who are old like me, their faces may not gloom because their skin, they are loosened. Right? So we call it stretching. Can we stretch our skin? In India we have many herbals, people claim, but in foreign countries they go for operation. This operation will cost you very high amount of money. But because their insurances are governed by the government, so they go for that. So this is the data. There were 160 people in a company, right? And 160 people went for skin stretching. The money was paid by their company. The data is available. First employee, what is the amount of stretching? 31.9. So this is microcentimeter, right? It's not in centimeters. How much skin has been stretched? By 31.9 microcentimeter. So imagine, if by 31.9 stretching you look younger, fine. Okay? So this data I want to know whether this is normal data or not. How many observations are there? How many patients are there? हमने patient नहीं कहा उसको क्योंकि वो तो कोई शॉक में भी जाता है. We will not call them patients. So how many people went for this stretching? 160. So I need to enter this data. So first person 31.9, second person 33.1, and so on. How much? 40. This is the last person. How much his skin was stretched? By 30.1. Right? I want to know whether this is my normal data or not. Right? How to do that? If you look at it, you will say this looks normal. But again the question is why somebody should believe? If you want to use parametric test, you need to have normal population. Now I will be using this software. The name of the software is Minitab. Please remember, you must have used SPSS. You must have used other software, Statistica, and so many. But this is the software which I have been using since 1991. Imagine, I was trained in 1991 in the Indian Statistical Institute, Kolkata. I went from Srinagar to Kolkata. And since then I have been using. Why I have been using since then? Because whatever I need, it gives it. If you have to pick this up, right, how much force you need to exert? I mean, I can pick it up by my hand. But if you want to bring the crane for picking it up, required? Not required. Crane is not required to pick it up. Only my hand is sufficient. People are doing what? They will buy very costly software and they will not use even 5% of that. What is the fun? I am using the software. Whatever you need as a research methodologist, it will give you the answer. Right? And I can give a copy to you also, provided you should not claim it. That I have given it to you, even if it is being recorded here. I have used my software. I have used my software to test whether the data is normal or not. I will be showing you how did I use it. If this picture looks like this, it's a 45-degree line. It's a 45-degree line. And most of the observations are lying on this line. Your data is normal. Imagine how easy it is to identify whether your population is normal. This is a different story that this data was collected in a foreign country. Right? If you collect the data as a research scholar, this very good line may not be there. Right? So how to do that? First step in using the test of hypothesis. Okay? Now should I show you the software? Okay. Please. The name of the software is Minitab, and you can search by Minitab. So this is Minitab 14. Right? The name of the software is Minitab 14. I started using the first version as 4. This is 14. Now the version which is being sold in the market is 25. Okay? But because this doesn't require any license, imagine. You can download the free trial of this Minitab for 1 month. Up to 1 month, it will not ask you for any license. It's a trial version. But then it will ask you. But this is not a very costly like SPSS. SPSS will cost you lakhs of rupees. This may cost you only thousands of rupees. But I am not the advertiser for this, right? So You will have this software in a directory, folder, name it as Minitab 14, go to the folder, and then it will show you these files. It will show you these files. It will show you these files. Okay? Here is a blue colored file. Can you see? What is written? MTV. Right? ये अलादीन का चिराग. You just click it. You just click it, and all your problems of calculations are gone. Just click it. You will see the page of the Minitab. Okay? You can see this. And we call this as the worksheet. Why I call it worksheet? Because there are rows and columns. I have to keep my data here. Any kind of data, whether social science data, whether arts data, whether science data, it will be in the form of only rows and columns. Right? So, that is why we call it worksheet. Otherwise somebody will call it file. In the file I can keep pictures. I can keep letters. Not allowed. Only data. Data in terms of rows and columns. How many participants are sitting here? Maybe 40. If I am interested in your age, weight and IQ, so 40 by 3 a matrix is generated. It's easy for the computers to understand. So the computers process the data only which is a matrix data. And if it is a matrix data, we call it as the worksheet. Okay? So I need to enter here the data which I was using. How many observations I had? 160. Who will do it? Who will enter it? It's a boring work. Entering 160, one by one. And you will make many mistakes also. Right? I will be sharing with you the problem which I faced in Srinagar. Right? Somebody came who was Sardar ji. कोई सरदार साहब तो नहीं यहाँ पे है तो नहीं भाई वैसे मैं कोई बुरी बात नहीं करने जा रहा. He came to me, sir, I have my thesis which will give him PhD, and the data pertain to the pediatrics data. So he wanted me, sir ji kuch table sebel bana dijiye. He came with some request. Please do provide some tables out of this data so that my thesis looks very good. I told him, if you are using this kind of approach, you will have to justify in the PhD viva voce examination. He said, sir ji uski fikr mat kariye. Neither I know statistics, nor my supervisor knows, nor the person who is coming to conduct my viva, he doesn't know. So don't worry about it. I agreed. So I asked him to give me the data. The data was about the children. Children up to the age of 6 years, 6 months, 7 months, 10 months, 20 months, like that. So when I found out the correlation between two parameters, the correlation was not what he was expecting. So he said, sir ji, ye to galat hai. So I told him, is your data is okay? He says, okay. But then I searched the data. Where only 6 months was to be written, he had written 600 months. By mistake. I told him, what are you right? How can a person be treated as child who is 600 months old? He says, sir ji galti ho gayi. So that is not permissible nowadays. So what do we do? Either you enter the data electronically, copy it from somewhere. So the same thing we will be doing it here. So I will copy from the file. And this data is available to me in a file which I have with me. So I will simply say open the worksheet, and this is here. This data is with me, skin elasticity in my file. It is here. This is. You can see this data. How much time you took it? few seconds. How many observations are here? 160. Right? 160. Even 160 million can be copied in just within no time. Right? Two things are ensured. The data entered is correct and it doesn't take time. Right? So the first thing which I had promised you, I will be testing whether this is a normal data or not. I am not going to tell you any formula, which formula I have used. I am going to tell you the measure, which test you should follow. Okay? Please remember. You go to here in the statistics. What is written here? Can you read it? If you just click it, imagine how many things are available. Basic statistics, regression, analysis of variance, ANOVA, then DOE, design of experiment, control charts, quality tools, reliability survival, multivariate analysis, and then of course time series. Then you have the tables, and then of course non-parametrics, and then EDA, exploratory data analysis. Somebody will teach you. I was supposed to teach, but then I left it for somebody else, okay? Somebody else will teach you EDA. Then power and sample size. These are the things which you can find without no efforts, almost zero efforts, right? And so beautifully that whatever you calculate, it will be calculated without any error, right? If I ask you to find the mean of 160, who is Sahab Bahadur who can say I can perform excellently, I can find the mean without any problem, 160. Then if I ask you to find out the variance, then you are still in trouble, right? But here see, I will be testing the normality. Just please go here. Please go here. Please tell him to get a weekend. In my class, I don't allow anybody to sleep. Yes, please. लंच आपने अच्छा किया क्या? हाँ, इन्होंने बहुत अच्छा कराया. मैंने मिस किया बेटा. Just go to basic statistics. How many icons do you see? Display descriptive statistics, store descriptive statistics, one sample Z, one sample T, two sample T, pair T, then proportion test, two proportion tests, variances, correlation, covariance, and what is this? Which language you are talking about? English. And I suppose everybody knows English, she knows more than both others, because she may not know Hindi. Huh? Are you comfortable with Hindi? No. Okay? So, go, just select normality. You see normality? You just click it. I click it. I click it. Then it asks you for which variable you want to test. Which variable you want to test. I have only one variable, skin elasticity. If you have many variables, you choose all of them. It will show one by one. So I select it here. Please, I select it here. This is the data which is available in C1. So I highlight it, and what does it ask you? Select. Which language it is talking with you? English. So select. So it has come into the box. Simply say which test you want to use. If you want to test your temperature, there are three types of thermometers. One, mercury. Second, Casio, right? And now the Google will make a thermometer. If you just look through your eyes, the temperature will be recorded here. The time will come. Okay? See, there are three tests. First one, Anderson-Darling test. Second one, Ryan-Joyner. Third one, Kolmogorov. There are three tests. Of course, these tests are available in different situations. If your data is parametric, use Anderson-Darling test. If your data is non-parametric, means non-normal, use the other one. Okay? So which one you are going to use?
because my data is continuous, normal. So which method I should use? Anderson Darling. Okay? Why? Because this is my continuous data. You have to tell him which method you need to apply. So then there are two other tests, Ryan Joyner and Kolmogorov incident. It is up to you. I am teaching you, right? I know how to make you learn. I am teaching you very comfortably. But if those who were below high school level mathematics, I would have found very difficult. I had to lower down my level, right? So it's easy. So what you should do now? What it says you? Okay. What do you mean by okay in army? If some general tells you, somebody is asking, should I do it? So the general says okay, means go. Right? Go for it. So this okay means that normally approval. So go for this. Should I say okay? Is it difficult? Just say okay. What is this? This is the same thing which I did show it to you earlier. Is it difficult? Is it difficult? Not at all. That's what I told you in the beginning. If you know, you are comfortable. But if you do not know, you are uncomfortable. Now, if your supervisor asks you to verify whether this given data is normal or not, you will tell him, I can do it within no time. But earlier than this, perhaps you would have found difficult. Sir, I do not know which method I should use.
So, like, you have checked this data is normal or not, like parametric or non-parametric. But in the steps, we have assumed that this data is normal, that's why we have chosen Anderson Darling test.
No. We have not assumed normal. We have assumed only it is continuous data. The data may be male, female. It's a categorical data. Right? You have observations, continuous data. I have not claimed this is normal data. I am going to test it. I am saying he knows some mathematics. Right? That's my assumption. But how much mathematics do you know? I do not know. I will have to verify. So my data, before I test, I did not make a claim that this is my normal data. I did not make. You can take any data. Maybe some data which will not show this line. Like your supervisor tells you, collect the data from Aligarh, right, regarding many parameters. What is the diet of the children they take, right? So what do? Instead of going to households, you sit in a particular hotel, sip teas, and then enter yourself. Okay? Once you go to the house, the mother will tell you he eats like this. So you may say, every house I am going, ये दूध भी पीता है, ये चाय भी पीता है, ये दो बिस्किट भी खाता है. So after 10-12 households, you will say, I will enter myself. But this will catch you. If you enter yourself, this line will not be like 45 degrees. This is the study. Yeah, maybe. There may be different sets of data which is not normal. If it is a small data, normally we say non-parametric for a small set of data. If the data is very long, high, size is maybe 1,500, 200, 600, so normally it tends to be normal. Otherwise, if only few data sets are there, it may not be normal. Like if there are 6 people sitting over here, the income of his father, right? Maybe an engineer. The income of the father who is teacher. The income of the father who is maybe low paid employee. And the income of the father who is a leader. And the income of the father, if he happens to be like Ambani. Is this data normal? What Ambani earns, the professors would never earn. Will not be a normal data. Right? So that is why this is how do we take it. And now you can use it for another purpose also. Like this is the first thing which you are required to do. Imagine you are not supposed to find the to know the methods formulae. Simply what is written here? Descriptive statistics. Like if you have the data, the first thing which you want to find for any data set, the measure of central tendency, maybe mean, median, mode, whatever it is. Then measure of standard dispersion, maybe standard deviation, maybe quartile deviation, maybe some other deviation, right? Then Q1, Q2, Q3, first quartile, second quartile, third quartile, then variance, then median, then minimum, then maximum, so many things, right? If you want to find out the standard deviation, you need to know the formula. Here, you need not know. I will simply use it here. Just go to here. What is written here? Can you read? Display. Just click it. I have only one variable. If you would have many variables, you can select all of them. Like I select only this. I have only this one. So you simply do it here. Select. Just okay. Imagine what it has given you the calculation. How many samples? 160. N star means, is there any observation which is missing out of 160? You may say, what do you mean by missing? I am asking the age. She doesn't tell me. Normally females tend to hide. Now the even males are hiding it. But remember, I can tell your age without asking. Okay? Yeah, I will tell you. But I use these magics when I feel that you are feeling bored. But still you are not feeling bored. What is my time? 5? Only 4. Sorry. So you get all these things? Now, how much time you would have required to find out these measures? Now you have required only seconds. But if you were supposed to do it manually? And after that I should have put a rider. Are these calculations correct? Imagine. Right? Not only this, many beautiful pictures which you need in a thesis. You can simply go for like this step. Just go to graphs. And this is box plot. Histogram. Imagine. These are the new techniques which your thesis must contain. This speaks about every kind of features of your data. Which formula you use? You don't know. Right? So, neither you have to perform manual calculations, nor you have to remember the formula, right? But still you can be a good analyst. Now, because the time is less, coming back to the test of hypothesis. I am sharing it with you. It depends on what you are going to test. If your sample size is less than 30, remember, if your sample size is less than 30, right, and you want to say, you want to test whether the sample mean is equivalent to population mean. Like for example, all my participants sitting over here, is your IQ level is comparable with the national level? Right? If it is so, I am happy. But if it is not so, if your IQ level is lower, then I will ask you, please raise your IQ level. So the test of hypothesis will tell you whether this sample can be treated as to have come from a population with a specified mean. I will be using t-test. How? I will show you. Okay? So when you enter the data, it's very easy in Minitab. Either you should have in a file, or you should have in, you can enter it here. If I have, say for example, I have this data. If you want to, maybe IQ level, maybe IQ. Okay? So you can write it. I write IQ. So give me some sample. I am assuming that this is less than 30. So I say randomly selected. I have many things to teach you, but sorry for the time. In the statistics, if I am saying randomly, it makes sense. Like your IQ level of all these participants. I will choose randomly. I will use my random numbers. If time permits, I will show it to you. How can I can choose 10 out of you? The second question, why only 10? These are the two things which are need to be answered. But firstly, let me suppose the IQ level of the first contestant, maybe 81. Don't get offended, please.
81 is borderline.
Maybe. Okay? Maybe 87. Another. Maybe 85. Maybe 79. Okay? 79. Maybe 79 or 78. This key is not working. Okay? Maybe 88. Maybe say 81. Okay? How many samples are there? 6. And I can tell you statistically, if I say 6 students are to be selected randomly, then you only measure 6. They will measure the whole lot. Their mean will be equivalent to the whole lot. That is another magic of statistics. Okay? Now if I assume this, how many samples I have taken? 6. It is less than 30. So which test I should use? T-test. What I am comparing? I want to compare. क्या बताया बेटा तुमने? National level?
It's borderline.
No. What is the IQ level of India? नहीं भाई इतने भी हम बुद्धू नहीं है क्या कह रहे हैं? We are excelling in the whole world.
80 above is
हाँ हाँ. So if I am comparing it, whether my participants come from a population जिसका average IQ level 88 है, right? With which I am comparing 88. Maybe you may compare it with 86, I don't know. I mean the level, national figures. So what you need to do, imagine, you don't need to know what statistic you are going to use. Of course you are supposed to know which test you are going to use. Which test we are going to use? T-test. So it is available here. You go here. You go to here. What is it that? What is written here? Sample T. One sample T. Only one sample I am comparing. So is it difficult to choose from the menu? होटल में खाना खाने जाते हैं क्या खाने में? हाँ जी मुर्गा है ये है. So what do you? This one you bring it for me. It's easy. So choose from here. Why I am choosing t-test? Because the sample size is less. I am comparing sample mean versus population mean. So I have to use t-test. Simply say it. Okay. Should I click it? I click it. Now it asks you samples कहाँ है? कौन से कॉलम में है? मैंने सैंपल कौन से कॉलम में रखे हैं? मैंने कॉलम रखे हैं C3 में. Select it. Okay? Then with which you want to compare? 88. Right? So write here 88. Okay? Just say okay. You can see this. The test has been performed. Which formula you use? You don't. आपका काम तो हो गया. P वैल्यू कितना है? 0.03. हमें कितना चाहिए? है? हाँ. ठीक है? So ये तो है. How confident we are? 97%. We are 97% confident कि ये दोनों एक जैसे नहीं हैं. रिजेक्ट किया आपने हाइपोथेसिस. सैंपल मीन कुछ और है, नेशनल लेवल कुछ और. देखिए आप यहाँ 88 के साथ कंपैरिजन नहीं है. राइट? Now if I change it here. I want to compare it with lesser one. Okay? One sample details. I want to compare it here with 85. Okay. What is p-value? How much confident you would like to be? 66. And I told you that if you are not 95% confident, results are not significant. Means what? This sample and this one, there is no difference. H naught is accepted. H naught is not rejected. So at this moment I can say my samples have come from a population जिनका IQ level 85 है, 88 नहीं. ये सारे मेरे participant 88 से कम है. Means what? The data what you get. We speak, we draw conclusions, whatever the data suggests. We don't speak ourselves. If the data gives you the evidence, only then you come. So I have tested sample mean versus population. If I am interested in testing the difference between male and female, right? Then I will choose the two sample data. I have two sample details. So what I do, I can write here IQ level of male. This is for male, okay? IQ male, and this is for IQ female, okay? IQ female. So what should I take? I don't want to be offended. You tell your figure, okay? Or the first one may be for females, the second one, what you would like to be? What should be the IQ of male? 79. He mutely accepts that. ठीक है. Okay? 92. Okay. Just a minute. हाँ, इसमें कुछ लग थोड़ी रहा है, कुछ भी कहते हैं. चलिए 86 फिजिबल होनी चाहिए. हाँ 77 इज ओके. फिजिबल भी तो होनी चाहिए. कोई पूछे आपसे आप कितनी रोटी खाते हैं, आपको मैं 100 रोटी खाता हूँ. इज इट फिजिबल? हाँ. So maybe like this. Okay. Fine. Now, through naked eyes, you can see there is a difference. But who is going to believe you? The difference may be due to some other factors, not because of this. So, because it's a two sample test, I would choose it from my menu. What is your menu? Go to this. Stat, basic statistics. Then, what is this? Two samples. Select it. It asks you whether the data is only in one sample. पहले 6 एक में फिर नीचे के 6 ये भी possible है. हम कहेंगे अलग अलग column. They are in different columns. So choose. This is IQM for male. Sorry. हाँ different columns. ठीक है. So this is IQM. Select. This is IQF and select. Okay. Same आ गया. तो ये मुझे वहाँ भी बता देगा ये. IQF है ये IQM. So हाँ भी नहीं हुआ. IQF. Okay. Done. Assume equal variances. Check the results. P value. Huh? नॉट सिग्निफिकेंट, मेरी जान बच गई, नहीं तो कोई एक ग्रुप कम से कम मुझे कहता आपने गलत डेटा भरा है. So this result says both the males and females have the same level of height. Which method you used it? Formula, did you remember? Did I ask you to remember the formula? What you need to have only the data and then just use t-test. If you have the data for paired sample, in medical, the doctor claims, आपने कहा दिल में दर्द हो रहा है. He says, sit down here. I will give you a tablet. It will lower down. हो जाता है. कौन सा जादू है? Statistician को याद कीजिए. We have developed. We have patented. Doctor gives you the kind of recommendation. How? Based on our recommendation. That this medicine was 99.99% effective. Only then doctor says, sit down here, 1 घंटे में ठीक हो जाएगा. Right? So, you will be using paired t-test. And it may be like this. If this is BP level 120, right? Then 130, then 125, then 89, right? इसकी एक की खराब है असल में. Then this is 90, 9 भी खराब है, 89, sorry, ये एक्चुअली इसकी की खराब है. And then थोड़े ही ले लें, कोई बात नहीं. Your BP is high, you administer the tablet and it comes down 115, maybe 120, maybe 121, maybe it may happen like this also. Just a minute. Just a minute. Like this cannot happen. Maybe 112. Okay? And then 110. Okay? हाँ गलत है. I also understand. ये एक्चुअली ये मेरा लैपटॉप रखा था कई दिन से. ये So you can say this is before medicine and this is after medicine. I want to know whether this medicine is really effective or not. Through naked eyes, you cannot make any inference. And what is important? If I am saying this medicine is effective, next time you administer it to the same kind of population, it will have the effect. Where we should go? We should go here. Stat, basic statistics, and then peer t. So, this is samples in one column, no? This is sample in different columns, B, this is A, okay, and then this is. What is p-value? This medicine doesn't have any effect. Whether you take the medicine or not. Maybe medicine is fake. Duplicate आ रही मार्केट में. Has no effect. तो इस मेडिसिन को लेने से कोई फायदा नहीं.
इसमें तो हमने ऐसा कुछ पैरामीटर दिया नहीं जिसको कि आपको इस लेवल पे लाना था मेडिसिन के बाद.
हाँ.
तो कैसे हम मेजर कर रहे हैं कि वो क्या मेजर कर रहा है, बढ़ रहा है, घट रहा है?
नहीं. The p-value which you see here, if there is a change, this p-value will come lower. Now it is 0.8 and see, this is 120, 115, you make them lower. Maybe after you administer, okay? Like this, okay? So what you see, 125 से 88 हो गया. Just go here. हाँ पेयर टेस्ट लगाना, मैंने गलत चूज किया. पेयर ओके. What is the level now? 0.33. But still it is not at that level. We want 0.05. If it comes to the level of 0.05, आंख बंद करके दे देना दवा, उसका ब्लड प्रेशर डाउन होना ही होना. हाँ.
हम कहते हैं कि बीपी का एक नॉर्मल रेंज ये है, मान लीजिए हम कहते हैं 100 एक नॉर्मल रेंज. तो मैंने बताया नहीं अभी कंप्यूटर को कि नॉर्मली
ना बताया.
आपको उसके पास रुकना है.
We are not interested in that. Our problem is whether this medicine is effective or not.
So in that case, like in some patients, it goes down from 125 to 80.
So that's why I say, can we generalize this? No. We can generalize it if you could have P less than 0.05. तब आंख बंद करके देनी थी दवा. Take it, then it will. Now these are the parametric tests. If your population is not normal, then which test you need? Non-parametric. The procedure will remain the same. Go here. Start. What do you see here? The first one is sample sign test, sample Wilcoxon test, Mann-Whitney test, Crutchell-Wallis test. Remember, the first test, simple sign test, is an alternative to your T test. First one, sample versus population mean. Then second, sample Wilcoxon sign rank test. This is a replacement for pair T test. Then Mann-Whitney test. This is a replacement for difference between two samples. Then Crutchell-Wallis, it's a replacement for ANOVA. ANOVA I have not discussed. I hope he will give me 5 minutes only. Okay? So, if you need to go for more than two treatments difference, two means difference, we will use F test and we will be utilizing ANOVA. How? Just have a look on this. If I have this file with me, this is just wait for a minute. You can choose your pen drive here, and this is teeth, okay? Teeth. See, sorry, I have 4 brands of toothpaste. You have many, but I have only 4. I want to see which one is good. The toothpaste is good if your cavity, if the number of cavities in your, इतना नाजुक है. Yes, come. वहाँ आ गया पीछे. बैक गियर लगा दिया आपने. आपको पीछे घूम के देखना पड़ेगा. हाँ, थोड़ा टाइम लेगा. I've got 4 types of toothpaste. One is Pepsodent, Colgate. Third one is Close-Up, and of course Miswak. 4 types of brands of toothpaste. Right? Which one is good? I do not know. These are the number of cavities which are available in your teeth. And I know which toothpaste you are using. Right? The data can be collected from dental's, any doctor's clinic, because whatever the patient goes there, he is crying, oh, I have got decaying tooth. So he will tell how many cavities are there. So this is the data. I want to know which toothpaste is good, which toothpaste will be treated as good, which creates less number of cavities. And which test is to be used here? Analysis of variance, one-way analysis of variance. you need many calculations. I don't worry about it. I simply use many types. Go here. Just go here. Stat, okay, ANOVA, and one way unstacked. That's all what you have to do. Select all of them. Sorry, मैंने select नहीं किया क्या? Select कर लीजिए. Okay. And I want 95%. I want to be 95% confident. See, what is the p-value? What is the p-value? All the toothpastes are not equally good. H0 has been rejected. And that is also taken. Those who are using miswak, उनके teeth में cavity होती नहीं. Those who are using Pepsodent, उनके दांतों में कम होती. And those who are using close-up, you will find many cavities. Choice is yours. So, if I am using this, its equivalent test in non-parametric, it will be Crutchell-Wallis test in non-parametric. So this is what the whole story says. Thank you so much for giving me the time and my pleasure. Yeah. If you have any question, please. Because you have to compare more than 2 treatment means. Oh, huh. So if you had to compare 2, you had T, you had Z test. ANOVA. Any more questions, please? Yeah. Fiducial limits are to be used in exploratory data analysis. I want to know how much data is available within this interval. If I want to be 68% confident, x bar plus minus sigma. If I want to be 95% confident, x bar plus minus 2 sigma. And if I want to be 99% confident, x bar plus minus 3 sigma, we call them as fiducial limits. It has nothing to do with the test of hypothesis. That's what I told you. These 2 types of errors, we fix first type of error because this is more serious. You will ask me why it is more serious. Imagine if there is a judge who is listening the case of a person who has been accused of killing someone. He's a killer. Right? Now there are 2 chances. The judge punish him when he is not the killer. First type of mistake. It is more serious. Second, the judge exempts him. But he was guilty. And he says, Allah ne छोड़ा, अब नहीं करूँगा. But think about the person जिसने किया नहीं. वो तो कहेगा ऐसे भी है तो अब और निकल के बाद 4 और मारूंगा. That is why we say first type of error is more serious. So we try to fix it, we try to minimize it. We fix it at 0.05 level and then the second error is simultaneously minimized. So these are the 2 types of errors. Anything else you want? Yeah. That's why I am saying minimum level is 0.05. You should not go beyond more than 0.05. If you are going more than 0.05, nobody will believe you. The same thing will happen. You are saying, I am honest, I am 50% confident. Who will believe you? So it's a fixed. Maximum 0.05. Less than 0.05, it's okay. It's a bonus point. Any more questions? Time doesn't permit me, otherwise I would have told your ages. But many of you would have not like that. Anyway, thank you so much. Please. My pleasure.
can note down my, or you can seek my email from him. I will be available if you need any kind of help.
So thank you so much for the wonderful class, sir. As you know, कि sir is the professor and chairperson of the Department of Statistics and OR. आप जाइए डिपार्टमेंटल वेब पेज पे सारी चीज़ें मिल जाएंगी. Wonderful paradigm shift in the knowledge, friends. Now in days to come, we are going to discuss quantitative methods, testing your hypothesis using different applications for your data. Minitab is one of the wonderful application to analyze your data. Tomorrow morning we have a eminent statistician, Professor Rajiv Pandey from Lucknow University, very good friend of Akhil sir and mine also.
Yes.
He is coming today evening और कल सुबह उनकी क्लास होगी. He will be discussing about SPSS and using data for testing the hypothesis, as sir have done in Minitab. Some more statistical tests are also to be discussed by him. So in days to come, we are going to work on quantitative methods using statistical application for the data analysis. So slowly we are trying to develop the foundation, and at the end of this program, I am sure you will be an amazing researcher. Trust upon me. So it was the wonderful class. As sir ने बहुत सारी बातें की होंगी, friends. To summarize, if you are planning to choose the right test, then you need to answer 3 questions. What type of test required for your data set? You need to answer 3 questions. The first question, what type of data do you have? You need to classify the data, whether it is qualitative or quantitative. At this point, you are going to fix the direction of the statistical test. First question, what type of data do you have? Second question, how many samples you have in your hand? Samples. जैसे सर ने बात की, if you are having one sample, then you are going with the one sample t-test. If you are having 2 samples, but they are independent, then you are going for independent samples t-test and Mann-Whitney with the non-parametric. Similarly, when you are having 2 samples, but they are paired or dependent, then you are going to have paired t-test, Wilkinson and so on. एक क्वेश्चन बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग था, द रिजल्ट ऑफ द 2 samples, or when you are comparing 2 means, will be as good as in case of independent samples t-test and also one-way analysis of variance. When you are comparing 2 means, then the results will be same. But it is suggested when you are having more than 2 means, then you need to go for analysis of variance. It is more robust test, analysis of variance. And the third question, what you are trying to draw out of the data. आप क्या चाहते हैं data से? Whether you are planning to compare the means or seeking the relationship between or among means. 2 ही तरह की हम statistics use करते हैं. या तो compare करते हैं या try to develop the model or try to examine the relationship between the two. इन 3 क्वेश्चंस का आप जवाब दे देंगे तो ट्रस्ट मी यू विल बी द राइट रिसर्चर एंड स्टैटिस्टिशियन टू डेज टू कम. फिर जरूरत नहीं है किसी के पास जाने की. थैंक यू सो मच फॉर द वंडरफुल डिस्कशन सर. सो फ्रेंड्स, आई होप वी आर मूविंग इन द राइट डायरेक्शन. हम टीचर हैं, थोड़ा आदत है ज़्यादा बोलने की, लेकिन यू नीड टू डेवलप दिस हैबिट इन डेज टू कम. आपको भी ऐसे ही होना पड़ेगा. थैंक यू सो मच. सी यू टुमारो.